Hello everybody, Hellcracks here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode 365. Yes, today we're going to be talking about the Hachiman, I think it's how you pronounce that, Hachiman, something like that. Alright, so Fire Support Tank. Yeah, it's basically a clan Hellhorse style vehicle. Comes in at a 4/6 mover. It's 50 tons. It has a battle value of, let me tell you here in a second. Let's see, 1484. Yeah, I had to find it here. So, kind of spendy for 50 tons. It's a 4/6 mover, so it's not that fast, which is kind of like when you look at a lot of clan stuff, you're like, huh. Not very speedy, that's for sure, because that would make it a fairly easy target against most clan mechs. You know, it's like, why would they go do that route? But yeah, it's got some interesting aspects to it. It does come with a fusion engine, which stands to reason when you look at the weapons loadout it has. It has 7 tons of ferrofibrous armor for 134 points, so it's kind of well protected in inner sphere standards. Clan standards, not so much. Just saying. You know, when you look at that, it's let's see, 100. It's like 30 on the front, I believe. Yeah, 30 on the front, 29 on the sides, 19 on the rear, 27 on the turret. So it's fairly well protected. It can stay in the battle for at least one turn. Before, if you're facing off against most clan mechs, it may last a turn, but you know, there might be something out there in front of it that will keep it alive longer, because if you got mechs out in front of this thing, then its life expectancy a little bit longer, because those would be more of a threat that they might be focusing on. But weapons loadout. It has 2 ER medium lasers in the turret. It has 2 LRM-20s in the turret with Artemis fire control system to help out. Yeah, that's fine. It has 24 shots, so 4 tons of ammo. So yeah, you get 12 shots per launcher. And I don't expect the life expectancy to be beyond 12. Then it has a Streak 4 in the turret with 1 ton of ammunition. All right, so if you do punch some holes someplace, if you do get it within 12 or closer, then you can hammer it with the what do you call it, the Streak, and then maybe do some crit hunting. Even though in some ways the what do you call it, the LRM-20s can sort of work as crit hunters. You know, that's not a big deal. You know, with most weapons of the missile nature, yeah, you have a tendency to go that route. All right. So, what do I think of it? Well, with the speed it has, you definitely want it to hang back. Especially if you're fighting clan on clan action. Yeah, you definitely want to have it keep in the back, sitting in at that long range bubble or slightly into the medium range bubble, depending on the circumstances of what you're firing it with. And you could sit there with those LRM-20s and just rain down fire. And then when maybe the launchers, if you're lasting a game that long, then you can close in with the ER medium lasers, or just if you're within the slight bubble where you might have the 2 ER medium lasers shooting away, you might be able to hammer away with those 2 also. But when you're getting close, then you're just throwing in the Streaks into the mix to cause some havoc. And if you're running star of these things, yeah, that works out fairly decent. You're going to have some fire going downrange, or maybe working in conjunction with a few other Hellhorse style vehicles. Now, the interesting thing is that later on after the Jihad, these vehicles found themselves into the inner sphere being sold, because a lot of the clans were turned around and were then marketing a lot of this stuff to the inner sphere also. They kind of like, well, trade is good. So you might find later, if you're playing campaign games way down the line, you know, you might find these things in the hands of the inner sphere or mercs. All right, so I've already kind of alluded how you'd use this. Is that I like the idea that you could, if you got some cover someplace, you could fire these things in direct. You know, you're not going to get the use of the Artemis, but the it's the nice thing is that you have the capability of shooting over obstacles and everything, and then raining down some fire that way, which is not a bad idea. Keeps these things in the fight, and that's how you can burn through all 12 rounds with the 2 launchers. Now, later in the game, like mid-game, later game, it's like when things are really shot up, then you can probably trundle these things out and just slowly moving them forward and close the gap, and then just start raining them stuff down at kind of like the point blank range, which, you know, works out fairly decently. So then you're getting a better fire solution. And obviously with the Artemis, you know, you got the pluses right there, so you most likely are going to be hitting it with 9 and 12 respectively with most of your barrages that come out of that launcher if they hit. And occasionally you're going to get up there into the higher range of it. So yeah, that's the nice thing about it. Now, then there's a different version of this, which is kind of interesting, which I, for the life of me, have not been able to figure out how they made this math work out here. They got a AAA version, ACAC version. Now this one has exchanges all the weapons save the 2ER medium lasers for a pair of HAG 20s and 24 rounds. So you got 4 tons of ammunition. Comes in at 14.18 for the battle value. So your battle value is slightly less, and you're gaining some range. Now, I was looking at this and I was like, well, that doesn't add up, because I know how much the weight of the HAG is, and I'm like looking at the weight of the LRM 20s. I'm like, something's not adding up here. It's like, because the total weight of the 2 LRM 20s is only 10 tons, but a HAG 20, I believe, is 10 tons. So, you know, something doesn't look right here. So I think it may be, instead of a pair of HAG 20s, you're maybe exchanging it for a HAG 20. And okay, so if it's a AAA, obviously, if you put, you could put 2 tons of ammunition as your flak style armor ammo, and then you'd have your regular 2 tons of ammo. That would work out, because then you get the bonuses for having it as flak, and then you're shooting at aerial targets. So yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I think that's what it actually is supposed to mean, because, you know, the math doesn't do the like it's supposed to. Like, something's wrong there. But a HAG 20 is a nice little system and can get the job done fairly decently. Now, unless they drop this, they don't say anything about slowing the vehicle down to a 3.5, and then you're getting a little closer to how you can make it work. But still, yeah, something just not adding up there. I don't know what it is. It's like my brain says that not working. So that's what I'm looking at right there. But with the HAG, the thing is, the HAG, it shoots out to 24. So you got 3 more hexes or inches of distance with it versus the LRM. But they both are on the cluster table. So it's a 20 cluster table. So now you do get bonuses. I think it's a +2 at short range, but there's a -2 at long range. So you're not as good at longer ranges with this thing. So, but you know, you gain a little bit of extra distance. So it's like, it's a half, it's one half dozen the other. It's like, in some ways, I think I'd rather have the 2 LRM-20s with the Artemis and say, yeah, Artemis can get shut down with ECM bubbles. That's a given. And you don't have to worry about that with the HAG system. But I'm just, it's like the math doesn't seem to add up to me in my head with how the tonnage is supposed to work out with this thing. So, yeah, it's like, yeah. Unless I'm missing something someplace, I don't know. That's just things that make you go, So there's that. Now, the HAG system, like I said, can be useful. And you can have specialist ammo with it. Like I said, the flak ammo, and go that route. And then just hammer away. Go one way or the other. Now, if you're not facing off against any really airborne targets, which are, it's like most of the games we ever play, it's like there's typically going to be something that's going to be in the VTOL nature that might be flying around. So, yeah, you might want to think about what you want to go with. So, it's kind of an interesting conundrum of how you want to work it. So I've used the HAG before, useful, and then I've also a fan of the lighter LRM-20, which, you know, you get the same benefit. So there. So for the most part, the problem I have with the Hachiman is that, or Hachiman, I don't know which way to go, is that, do you rather have the LRM-20 or would you rather have the HAG system? And I'm leaning more towards having the LRM-20, just because you're getting the same kind of results in the long run when it comes to damage output. So I'd rather have that one. Plus you get the bonus of, say, hey, if I want to fire indirect, I can fire indirect and protect the vehicle for a longer period of time instead of having to get it out there into the mix. And I tell you, if I had a mech, let's say Warhawk, that had the large pulse laser version with the target computer, I'd see that thing out at a distance. It's like, I think I'm going to erase it. Just be done with it. Yep. Gonna end its day real quick. You know, that type of thing. And it's like, hey, once per turn, hammer away. He's like, that one's scratched off, that one's scratched off. So it's like, yeah, there might be targets a little bit better, but I'd rather get rid of the annoying, pesky vehicle in the backfield. That's kind of like how I look at it. All right, so that's a Hachiman Fire Support Tank. Not bad, useful, but I'm not enamored with the second version, with the HAG 20 version. Just doesn't jive with me. All right. So that's it. That is it. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share to friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Hellcracks out.